Now I have 2 mansions I inherited, but I prefer to sleep at nightclubs. At houses, it comes a short and dark old woman. The thing is very powerful. It forces me to... Yellow viewers, welcome once again to another educative episode of African Confessions HD, right here on Extraordinary Africa. If you're still new in this show, we publish lifetime confessions. Usually, we publish anonymously for their own safety reasons. And today in our video, we have 2 confessions. The main confession of this guy who is saying he inherited property from his uncle. The property is unusable. It was blood money property. Also, at the end, we'll be giving you a story of a woman who rise from death, as he will be giving us here testimony. Viewers, don't go anywhere. We are going to take you through the stories. Without wasting much of your time, let's go straight into the confessions. Hello, Extraordinary Africa. Can you please post anonymous? I am asking for advice. I inherited property from my uncle. He did not have a child. Uncle put me in a will. Everything was going to be mine. I now have 2 mansions, cars, and 7 buses in my name, but I regret. I wish I was not supposed to accept the property from the first place. That uncle of mine is the last born in my father's family. There were 7 brothers and 5 sisters. Of all 12 siblings, I only saw that uncle. My father and his other siblings were already dead by the time I started grade 1. I stayed with grandparents as an orphan with no sibling. People ill-treated me. At one point, I still remember my grandma exchanged me with cattle. They sold me to this businessman I had mentioned. At the businessman's place, life was so tough. One day, he took me to the forest with his servants. We went to a bush. They tied me on a tree. One of the servants took a knife whilst attempting to cut off my neck. A very big snake fell from the tree. They all ran away from the scene. The murderers have put clothes on my mouth, but the clothes fell down. I managed to shout. There were people hunting close to the scene. They came and rescued me. That's how I survived. I went to the city and became a street kiddie. My maternal grandmom's friend saw me eating on a bean. She informed my grandmother. They came to take me. I stayed with my maternal grandparents till I became a grown-up person. Few years ago, I fell sick, unable to talk or do anything. Grandparents took me to the hospital. Nothing was diagnosed. After more than 3 months without recovering, grandparents went to consult a sangoma who told them for me to leave. I was supposed to go back to my family. They hired a car and went to the village with me. I was left with my grandmother, the mother of my father. Grandfather who attempted to sell me was now dead by then. It is allegedly said he was killed by the businessman he sold me to after I escaped. In a week, I was okay. Grandmother asked for forgiveness for what grandfather did. She said she was unaware of what her husband was planning. On the second Saturday after I arrived, that rich uncle of mine passed away. After burying him, there was a will. Inside the will, it was written I was going to inherit everything. I was so happy and left with all this property. My worry is uncle used dark magic to be rich. The property is just unusable. I went to consult traditional healers. They told me uncle is the one who killed all his siblings, including my father. Now I have 2 mansions I inherited, but I prefer to sleep at nightclubs. At houses, it comes a short and dark old woman. The thing is very powerful. It forces me to sleep with it. The following day, after sleeping with it, my private parts will be releasing worms the whole day. I feel buckets of worms. The worms are white and they have red heads. I don't know what to do. Grandmom is now mentally ill. I don't have other relatives to share with. I don't want to pressurize my maternal grandparents. They are all BP patients. Guys, I don't know where to start. We parked the buses. It gets worse when they are on road. How are you, Solution Uncle? I am a lady from Pretoria, South Africa. Whoever I tell my story thinks I'm joking. Truly, people die by God's time. No one has power to take another's life. I did not knew all this before until it happened to me. Uncle, even I escaped death. I am still living in fear. Hope you are going to share my story with the nation. I am afraid for my future. I don't want what happened to me in the past to happen again. I visit many prophets, traditional healers, and sangomas, but I am still experiencing the same. To make the story short, I was born in Durban before we moved to Messina. I am the only kid of my parents. My father was a general manager at a factory, and mom is a nurse at a local hospital. My father loved my mom, but his relatives hated her. Mom was from a poor background, whilst dad was from a rich background. Dad was born in a rich family. Our grandfather, his father, was a director at a mine in the 90s, whilst grandmother, his mother, was a lecturer at a local university. She gave birth to 4 kids. My father was the firstborn and his 3 sisters. The family employed a maid from Mozambique. She worked for them for more than 10 years till she got impregnated by a local man. They stayed together for only a year. Only have 1 kid who is my mom. Her father passed away after only staying with their mom for only a year. Life began to be very hard for my grandmother, the mother of my mother, failing to look after my mom on her own, went back to my father's parents seeking for help. My father's mother felt pity for her, offered them food, clothes, and accommodation, sent my mother to school from primary to tertiary education. My mom was very intelligent at school. My father liked the girl and the two started dating, got engaged, but my father's family never blessed the marriage. How can their one and only son marry their maid's daughter? My mother had so many miscarriages before I was born in 2004. Since aunties never liked my mom, they started accusing her of aborting pregnancies before that, why she was failing to have a child. Surprisingly, my father continued loving her wife. We were a happy family, a family every person wishes to be part of. I went to a group of schools here in Durban. I got everything I needed as a child. Our parents were very supportive. They loved each other so much. Even though I was a child, I believe they were the community's best couple, Romeo and Juliet. Events suddenly turned upside down after my mother gave birth to my little sister. Princess was born with albinism. Our father divorced our mother after the birth of my little sister, Princess. He did not accept Princess as his child because of her status. Started suspecting that we were all not his children. His sisters, our aunties, always came to harass us every day. One day, one of his sisters, my aunt, came home, started to beat my mom. No one was around to rescue. I managed to pick a stone and struck my aunt on the leg. She fallen down. This angered her to the most extent. She told me that I was not going to live long. The following month, our father passed away after a short illness. People started accusing my mom of killing our father. Relatives chased us away, telling us that we were not their children, took away all our father's belongings, giving us nothing. My mother decided that we should move to Messina after being transferred at work. Before we left, that sister of my father, who I stoned, told me that she wanted me to die. We came here to Messina, but I kept on dreaming my aunt telling me she wanted to kill me. I was 3 years old by then. After 4 years in Messina, I started going to school. One day, as we were returning home from school with my friends walking by the roadside, from nowhere, a car just swerved to where we were, and I failed to escape like what my friends did. The car hit me. From then, I did not knew what was taking place. I could not saw, but I heard everything. It seems as if I was now dreaming. An ambulance was called. I was rushed to the hospital, coincidentally to the hospital where my mom works. It is allegedly said that I passed away on our way. I was confirmed dead. As soon as we arrived, my mom informed the churchmates and friends about my death. Before I was taken to the mortuary, a voice whispered in my eyes, "Where are you going, my innocent child?" Within few seconds, I started breathing. This is where and when I started to know what was happening. A group of people running away from the stretcher bed I was lying is the only thing I remember seeing. Only my mom remained closer. I was taken to the hospital since I had a broken leg. My story was the talk at the hospital the whole week. Even some locals know my story. I recovered and returned home. From then, I am always attacked by a thing I'm not seeing. I feel as if there is a person sitting on me. Once I fell asleep, failing to breathe well, always seeing in dreams my aunt telling me, "Why did you not die?" Fellow people, can you please help me? My life is at risk. Thank you so much to the people who have confessed today. We have published this story of a lady who rose from death because the sister of us recently sent Extraordinary Africa a message saying she's still experiencing the same. As soon as she fall asleep, there is a thing that comes on top of his body. She is dreaming that auntie who attempted to kill her, threatening to kill. Yes, she's still experiencing the same. So, guys, can you please help here with ideas on what to do? Advices, please. To the first confession, my brother, I would like to say sorry for what happened. Sorry for what happened in your life. You struggled. You struggled. Why doing such to orphans? People, why? It's such a touching story, my brother, but I think you need to leave everything. You need to leave everything you inherited from that evil uncle. Go and seek for a God-fearing church. Start praying, repenting for what you know you did was wrong. My brother, the devil is at work. Stop using that blood money anymore, my brother. Oh, this world. It's a touching story. Viewers of Extraordinary Africa, I would like to thank you so much for tuning in for today's show. You have been always there for us. I think I would like to thank you. I don't know how to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for always supporting. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let's help our friends and relatives who are in this mud. That's part of life. Also, to the people who confess, I would like to thank you so much, who always learn from other people's mistakes. We have learned from your stories. Thank you so much for always supporting us, Extraordinary Africa. Bye. Have a good start to your week. Peace.